bath event and get a Delta Porter faucet for just $69. Only at the Home Depot. More saving, more doing. U.S. only valid through March 26th.
It's fun to splurge on nice things, but it's better to get those same nice things at a great value. Like a Honda certified pre-owned vehicle. The best certified pre-owned value in America and backed by a limited warranty. Let Honda Certified Pre-Owned take you farther. Visit HondaCertified.com and search for local inventory. Honda, start something special. Based on 2015 Vincentric Best CPO Value in America Awards analysis applicable to 2011 to 2015 Honda model years. See dealer for limited warranty details.
ESPN Radio on demand. The NBA Lockdown Podcast.
You think LeBron is going to just sit there and say, okay, they're just better than us? Like, no way. Like, you're crazy.
No. But what's the Woody Allen quote? 90% of success is showing up. And they had just started to turn the corner. Like, part of it is just they got to be there in the finals, and you don't know what's going to happen.
The NBA Lockdown Podcast. Listen to it now on ESPNRadio.com.
X Games Aspen, the world's most talented athletes rock the mountaintop.
Oh my goodness, that's never been done on Earth.
Going for gold in snowboard superpipe, big air, slope style, and snowmobile freestyle.
Incredible!
It's winter's premier action sports event.
So massive!
X Games Aspen starts Friday at 7 Eastern on ESPN and streaming live on Watch ESPN and the ESPN app. Sponsored by Monster Energy.
Hi, it's Paul Feinbaum. Archie Manning will join us as his son Peyton prepares for his 4th Super Bowl, plus your phone calls.
The Paul Feinbaum Show, Tuesday on the ESPN Radio app and the SEC Network.
The NBA on ESPN. This is your game. It's a Wednesday night doubleheader featuring the 2 best teams in the league. First, Kawhi Leonard and San Antonio face their in-state rival, Houston. Then, Steph Curry and Golden State continue their march towards history as they host Dallas. Rockets Spurs at 8 Eastern. Mavs Warriors at 10:30. Tomorrow on ESPN and streaming live on Watch ESPN and the ESPN app. Presented by State Farm.
Super Bowl 50 is just weeks away, and Mike and Mike are headed to San Francisco to get you ready for the Golden Game. Coverage starts February 3rd at 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio and ESPN2.
Alabama back on top of the college football world.
What does it take to win 4 national titles in 7 seasons?
Another building block in this dynasty.
How about 4 straight #1 recruiting classes? How about future Heisman winners saying yes? Yes to the program. Yes to the hat. Yes to a 100% commitment to reach the college football playoff. It all starts with signing day. Coverage begins Wednesday, February 3rd at 8 a.m. Eastern on ESPNU and streaming live on Watch ESPN and the ESPN app.
Today on Mike and Mike.
So many other things to keep our eye on as we prepare for just one more NFL game.
I don't think you can slow down the Panthers right now. That's a powerful, powerful force, man. I think the championship is theirs to be had.
The fourth quarter of New England-Denver, it genuinely felt like one of those moments that everyone in the world was watching.
Mike and Mike, morning starting at 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio and ESPN2.
The 2016 Pro Bowl. Sunday. Get your NFL fix with inside access to the best in the game. Hear the play calls as they happen.
Next drive, 73 option.
Here we go.
And watch it unfold live with instant reaction from the sidelines.
You know, we want to give Hawaii a show.
The 2016 Pro Bowl, presented by USAA. Sunday at 7 Eastern on ESPN. Access granted.
This is Tammy, previously on the Paul Feinbaum Show.
Reggie Ragland, the All-American linebacker who was such a big part of Alabama's success this year. You've got your whole career ahead of you in the pros, but no matter how far you go, it probably won't get much better than Monday night.
If I get an opportunity to win a Super Bowl, it'll be great, but there's going to be nothing like spending time with your brothers. And we have lifelong memories, and I'm never going to forget those memories because they turned me really to the person that I am.
The Paul Feinbaum Show, weekdays at 3 Eastern on the SEC Network.
You dialed into your home for everything sports.
Just stay tuned in.
ESPN 1220 KGIR. Kate Gerardo.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Bob Picozzi. He's been out since December 26th with a torn quad, but Blake Griffin's return to the Clippers will be delayed much longer. Sources tell ESPN Griffin broke his right hand last night in Toronto. ESPN's Michael Eaves is reporting that Griffin punched a member of the team's equipment staff multiple times in the head. Coach Doc Rivers told reporters this morning in Indianapolis the team will issue a statement on the incident before tonight's game with the Pacers.
I don't think this is a race, so we'll talk about it. Obviously, we're all disappointed. No timetable yet. So it didn't involve a player. It did not. So I've heard that. So I can tell you that.
The Clippers have won 11 of their 14 games without Griffin. 18. That's how many straight times Serena Williams has now defeated Maria Sharapova in the quarterfinals of the Australian Open today. The top-seeded Williams was a 6-4, 6-1 winner. Top-seed Novak Djokovic, 3-seed Roger Federer, also straight-set winners. He's only a freshman. At LSU's Ben Simmons is first in the SEC in rebounding and third in scoring. His Tigers will host Georgia tonight, 9 o'clock Eastern Time on ESPN.
Sports Center is brought to you by H&R Block. It's refund season. Come into your local H&R Block office and let their experienced tax professionals help get you every dollar you deserve. Your maximum refund is guaranteed.
For Mike and Mike, the Sports Huddle, and all your favorite teams. Get it all right.
This makes my day go great.
On the SEMO ESPN Sports Network. This is a local sports center update from Southeast Missouri's ESPN Radio Network.
I'm Eric Shawn. This Sports Center update is brought to you by Bertrand Law Firm. Visit TreyBertrand.com. For the third time in 4 months, the University of Missouri has again suspended quarterback Matty Mock. The latest suspension comes after a 9-second video surfaced on social media depicting Mock appearing to snort a line of white powder. Mock was suspended for 8 games this past season for a violation of undisclosed team rules. The SEMO men's basketball team picked up its first conference win Sunday against UT Martin. That's the second winning streak of the season for the Redhawks, who will look for a third straight victory Thursday night in Edwardsville against last place SIUE. No midweek games for SEMO women's basketball. Coach Rika Patterson's Redhawks host high-scoring Austin Peay Saturday as part of a Show Me Center doubleheader starting at 2. High school hoops, the Sykeston boys improved to 14-0 with an 81-53 win over Francis Howell North in the opening round of the Fort Zumwalt North tournament. Fred Thatch led the way, 22 points, 12 rebounds. Bulldogs play Troy Buchanan in the semis tomorrow. Mizzou basketball gets back on the floor tomorrow at Rupp Arena against Kentucky at 8 o'clock. Tigers are 0-8 in games played outside of Mizzou Arena.
Get Sports Center updates every hour on Southeast Missouri's ESPN 92.9 FM and 1220 AM.
The conversation has been growing about Wings Etc. See, Wings Etc. has those award-winning jumbo wings. They're popular for both dine-in and carry-out. Now, the word is getting out about Wings Etc.'s appetizer lineup. From the ultimate nachos to the deep-fried pickle spears, frankly, they're irresistible. Friends are sharing time together at Wings Etc. They've got dining rooms filled with HD TVs tuned to the best sports programming, including NFL Sunday Ticket. The people at the next table are talking about Wings Etc.'s daily half-pound lunch special, starting at just $6.49. Plus, Wings Etc. has food and drink specials throughout the week, including 59-cent wings every Monday. Plus, there's the kids menu, and Wings Etc. is family-friendly with video games in the dining room. And the whole community is excited about how Wings Etc. is locally owned and operated, and they're proud to support local athletes, their families, schools, and teams. I guess Wings Etc. is a really big deal around here.
You're grilling for everyone on game day, and people are hungry. More than that, they're hangry, and it's 95 degrees out and thirsty. That's right, people are thrangry. They need to chill, and that gives you an idea. You remember Coors Light is filtered and bottled cold, so you pass some cold ones out. Suddenly, it's like they're snowboarding the majestic Rocky Mountains, speeding away from the peaks of Thrangry and down the slopes of yes. So they make with the cheering and let you get with the grilling. Well done. Now it's time for your Coors Light. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Great beer, great responsibility.
Hey, here's a stunner. Ford F-Series is America's best-selling brand of trucks again. The same brand that's been America's favorite since your dad had hair is #1 again? Yeah, who could have seen that coming? And it wasn't even close. What's kept Ford F-Series on top for 39 years straight? Game-changing innovation, pal. Like the high-strength military-grade aluminum alloy in the F-150. You may have noticed the competition came up short again. Ford F-Series, F-150, Super Duty, making every other truck brand history.
And now, your ESPN Radio Network local weather forecast.
The National Weather Service calling for mostly cloudy, a high of 40 today. Tonight down to 25. Tomorrow 40, sunshine and clouds mixed. 48, warming up sunny on Thursday. 50, sunny on Friday. Right now middle 50s for the weekend with sunshine on Saturday. A slight chance of showers coming Sunday afternoon. And Monday a chance of rain with a high near 54 degrees.
You're up to date with the latest weather forecast right here on the ESPN Radio Network.
This is Mike Greenberg for the best in local sports talk and play-by-play. It's SEMO ESPN.
This is a proud presentation of Mississippi River Radio Sports, the sports authority.
Check this out right here.
It's time now for the Redhawks Coaches Show on the SEMO ESPN Radio Sports Network. The Southeast Coaches Show airs every Tuesday at noon on ESPN 92.9 FM and 1220 AM from Wings Etc. in Cape and Jackson. This is your chance to delve deep into the Redhawks basketball season with head coach Rick Gray. So what do you say?
Come on, let's go!
Let's go! Let's go live to Wings Etc. on SEMO ESPN.
It is the Colfeld Distributing Redhawks Coaches Show. We are live at Wings Etc. in Cape Girardeau. We'll be here until 1 o'clock. We'll be talking Redhawk basketball with not only Redhawks head coach Rick Ray, but Redhawks women's basketball coach Rika Patterson is going to join us as well. So we'll get you caught up on everything that involves Redhawks basketball. Big Show Me Center doubleheader coming up on Saturday. The Austin Peay State Governors will be in town. On the men's side, the winningest Ohio Valley coach of all time, Dave Luce, will have his Govs in here for the second half of the doubleheader. The women will go at 2 o'clock. We want to invite you to stop by. You can join us here for lunch at Wings Etc., where they've got their award-winning jumbo wings. And if you are in a hurry, they'll get it for you to go. You can carry it out here at Wings Etc. Check out their menu. They have freshly made burgers in addition to their wings, wraps, subs, quesadillas. They have entree salads, smoked ribs, and, of course, their famous appetizer lineup, including their ultimate nachos and their spicy deep-fried pickle spears. And the first thing you'll notice when you walk in, all of the flat-screen, high-def televisions. They've got sports on every single one of them, including the NFL tickets. So if you haven't made Super Bowl plans a week from Sunday, Wings Etc. invites you to hang out and watch the big game right here with us. Let's welcome in the Redhawks head men's basketball coach, Rick Ray. And does breakfast taste a little sweeter when you're on a winning streak?
There's no question about it. Everything kind of changes perspective a little bit when you're going on a win streak. But really happy and proud of our guys, the way they performed here these past couple games and the way they bought into some of the changes that we've made on the defensive end.
Well, on the defensive end of the floor, the big change was going man-to-man. Now, it's not the first time that you have played any sort of man-to-man this year, right?
Correct. We started off the year playing some man-to-man, and then obviously we had some roster changes, and so didn't think that we had the roster and the personnel in order to be a good defensive man-to-man team. And so some of our guys, too, struggled keeping guys in front of them. But I'm much more comfortable teaching man-to-man defense, and I think it holds our guys more accountable. And I thought our guys have really done a good job of just instituting the man-to-man defense in maybe 8 practices.
More practices now. You've got some time here before you go. Thursday is the game at SIU Edwardsville, and that's going to be an 8 o'clock tip, so a little bit later tip. Do you like tipping it off at 8 o'clock? It's pretty late.
I hate that.
Yeah.
I mean, especially on a weekend, on a Thursday or a weekday, obviously you have to tip somewhere after 6 o'clock. We understand that, but 8 o'clock is obviously it's a TV game, so it's for TV purposes. But if I had my druthers, especially on a weekend, Saturday, I want to play it early as possible.
With regards to the zone defense, it's not as if you're going to completely scrap it all together. You may throw a curveball to a team and jump into a zone to kind of keep them off balance. Is that fair?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's like if you look at pitching, you got to have a fastball. And so our fastball is going to be our man-to-man defense, but you got to have a change-up pitch too. So we'll occasionally still go some 1-3-1 zone, some 2-3 zone, just to try to mix some things up. I think the most important thing defensively is knocking people out of rhythm on offense. And so if a team gets into a rhythm against your man-to-man, then there's nothing wrong with throwing in a tempo change with some sort of a different defense. So we'll definitely still have those in our bag, but we're going to be a predominant man-to-man team unless something happens where we get in foul trouble, we can't guard a ball screen action, something like that.
The game against UT Martin Sunday, and the games were moved back because of all of the weather. It goes into overtime. It's a really interesting game that had about 150 plot twists to it. You got off to a fantastic lead. You jumped all over them. Do you think they saw the Hannibal LaGrange video, or maybe they didn't see the Hannibal LaGrange? Maybe they bypassed that and then watched some other stuff. Did it look like you surprised them with the man-to-man defense?
Well, I don't think so. I think any coaching staff always looks at the previous game, and I'd be very surprised if they didn't look at the Hannibal LaGrange tape. If they didn't do their due diligence. But I don't think that they were surprised by the man-to-man defense. I think they were more surprised by the intensity of the man-to-man defense. And I thought our guys did a really good job of going out and contesting and pressuring them. And I thought we knocked them out of some things of what they're trying to do. I think the biggest decision you have to make when you play a team like a UT Martin is what are you going to do on their ball screen and handoff actions when they have a four-man like Howard who's really skilled. And so we made a decision just to switch all those things. And in switching all that, I thought we took away his penetration. So now when you take away Howard's penetration, now like they didn't do anything as far as like posting him against our smaller guards. And so that's the adjustment that they would have to make on their end. So they kept him on the perimeter, would end up working out great for us.
And when you say Howard, you're speaking of their all-conference four-man, Tamond Howard, and you, boy, did you do a number on him. 2 of 12 shooting. He missed all 3 of his three-point baskets. He's top 15 in free throw shooting, even missed a free throw. I went 1 for 2 from the line. He ended up with 3 turnovers in the game. You made him look like an average player, and he's a really good player.
Yeah, you're exactly right. He's a really good player. And I think the biggest stat that stands out for us is the fact that he only got to the free throw line 2 times because he's such a strong lane line driver that he always gets those opportunities because you usually have people trying to keep him in front of you. And it's always the four-man that's guarding him, but he's closing out to him after guarding a ball screen action, which makes it a difficult closeout. So we wanted to take away that difficult closeout and have whoever it is guard him not have to close out to him, already be there.
You're up 17 at halftime. What is a coach thinking in a scenario like that? Obviously, you like the fact that you're up big. Obviously, human nature can set in sometimes, and guys might cruise. That's probably not the case with your guys, but I know coaches worry about that kind of thing. And in college basketball, everybody is going to make a run, so I'm sure you were prepared for the run, but you're up 17, and then all of a sudden, what were your thoughts at halftime? You're up 17 points.
Well, at halftime, first of all, I commended our guys for the way they played defense. I mean, to hold a team like that to 15 points in the first half and the intensity that we played with, we made some mistakes on the offensive end, but I thought that we were living through our defense, and that's the most important thing. We need to continue to do that. But at halftime, everybody has the cliche, it's 0-0. But none of the kids ever believe that. Right. And they know they're up like 17 points. But what we want to make sure we conveyed to our team was the way we lose this game is through our offense. And so we can't turn the basketball over. We can't take bad shots. We can't take quick bad shots. So, and I thought we went out in that second half when exactly did those things on the offensive end. I thought our offense and our inability to execute and finish and take good shots led to them being successful on the offensive end for them because we didn't take care of the basketball. We didn't do some of the things we need to do to execute.
Boy, and then all of a sudden they come out after going 0 for 9 from three-point range in the first half. Alex Anderson, who came into the game. Anderson's an all-conference guy. The only guy in the league who's made more threes than him is Craig Bradshaw of Belmont. So he can hit the three. He starts hitting NBA range threes. He scores 4 3-pointers. He scores 16 in the second half. A guy named Kadar Edwards, who averages about 8 or 9 points a game, he goes for a career high 18 in the second half. So those two guys brought them back by themselves.
Yeah, and I thought Anderson, there was only one uncontested three that he had, and that was out of an out-of-bounds play where we didn't follow out on our assignments. But I thought for the most part, the rest of his threes were contested. And then I thought Edwards did a great job of bringing them energy because he was in attack mode. And a lot of his things came off of effort plays, especially on 50-50 balls, loose balls, and offensive rebounds.
He had 5 offensive rebounds. They were doing good work on the offensive glass in the second half.
Yeah, that's the thing I was really disappointed with. In the man-to-man defense, you really know your block-out assignments. In the zone, you don't know your block-out assignments sometimes. So I thought we should have done a better job rebounding the basketball. But I thought we got some of those in the first half, and I thought in the second half they got all of those 50-50 balls.
So you're up 17 at halftime. You look up, and with just under 4 minutes to go, you're down by 6 points. What's the message there then? Because in your mind, you're starting to think, uh-oh, is this thing going to slip away? I know the players have to think that.
Yeah, when I talked to my team, I talked to them about, don't do yourself a disservice by not winning this game. You guys have played too well and have performed too well to let this thing slip away. So let's get back to doing the things that we need to do on the offensive end in order for us to be successful. Because the only thing defensively that we were bad at in the second half was getting a rebound. We held them a lot to misses on the first attempt, but then they would go get the second attempt. And so we need to do a much better job of getting those loose balls and defensive rebounds. But if we could just do that, then I thought our defense was fine. And I thought offensively, we had a lot of open shots and some layups that we missed. And that's been a problem for us throughout the course of the season. But we just need to make sure we executed better on the offensive end and kind of stay the course. But what I told them, the most important thing is just because we're down now, don't start doing uncharacteristic things on the offensive end, trying to do it on your own to bring them back.
Boy, you see how much of an impact Antonius Cleveland has for this team. 20 points, 11 rebounds, 4 steals in the basketball game with just over 3.5 minutes to go. You're down 6, and he's a guy who I think was 3 for 24 from three-point range. So, in other words, no three-point success so far. Now he's got a bad wrist. He jumps up and takes a 3 and bangs home a 3. That cuts it to a 3-point game with 3.5 minutes to go. I thought in retrospect, looking back, if he misses that 3, they get the rebound, they go down and score and go up by 8. You may not win that game. That was a big shot.
Oh, there's no question about it. And, that's not his strong point, the three-point shooting. It's something he's got to really improve on if he's going to end up being a guy that's got a chance to make money when this is all said and done, when he's done with his college career. But him not knocking that shot down was huge for us in our momentum on that. And then we went down. I'm pretty sure we got to stop. And now we get that stop and we come back and it's a 3-point ball game. Now you're giving yourself a chance to win that game.
Now you've got I believe 10 seconds left. They're inbounding the ball into their basket. They've got 1 second on the shot clock. So they've got to devise a play where they can kind of basically tip it in. I mean, they look like they were going for a tip in, not a catch and shoot. And so they throw the ball in the lane. Eric McGill gets a steal. You guys run down the floor. He doesn't make the shot, but there's Antonius Cleveland to get an offensive rebound. He's fouled. 3 seconds left. Antonius is not one of your elite free throw shooters. He goes to the line, makes the first, tie game, 3 seconds left, chance to win it. The free throw does not go. They launch a shot from half court, and then you're going into overtime when you had an opportunity to win the game. You had a 17-point halftime lead. You've seen a lot of games like that in your career, and the team that had the lead or a chance to win the game rarely wins the game in overtime, right?
Yeah, and I think you're exactly right about that. And even more importantly, though, if you look at a team like us that's struggled and doesn't know how to win yet, and now you had a 17-point lead, you had a chance to win it and not send it into overtime, and then you end up going into overtime. A team like us that hasn't experienced any success, most of the time they lose that ball game. And so, let's go back and rewind through all those scenarios. First of all, with that 10 seconds left, we didn't know what was exactly what was going to happen there because the referees were looking at film and getting that. So we had to prepare them for 3 different situations. And our guys had to be locked into those 3 different situations. Was they going to give them a new shot clock with 10 seconds? Was it going to be our ball and it was going to call a shot clock violation? So we had to have a play set for that. Was it we had to play defense And then if we were playing defense, how much time was going to be on the shot clock. So we had to go through all three of those scenarios first and make sure our guys understood them. And once we knew it was 1 second on the shot clock, we said, no matter what, you can't let your guy jump. You have to be physical on the ground or through all screens and not giving them an opportunity to become a jump ball. So you have to be physical on the ground. And now the most important thing is getting the defensive rebound. And so Eric was able to secure the defensive rebound once they got off an attempt that wasn't a tip. And I told our team, I said, if a guard gets a rebound, just push the basketball. It's the best offense you can have is in transition, because we didn't want to set up a play and let them set their defense. So we wanted to be in attack mode. So if Eric got the ball, Jamal got the ball, Antonius got the ball, we wanted them to push the basketball right away. And if there was a big in front of them, set a ball screen. And I said, once you get to the rim, the next thing is everybody else come downhill and rebound.
Crash.
Don't worry about safeties. Don't worry about anything like that. We got to make sure if we get a shot up on the rim at the basket, which is what we want. No, I said no jump shots. Absolutely no jump shots. We want to get an attempt at the rim to either get fouled or have a chance to get an offensive rebound.
And you got fouled. And Cleveland goes to the line, makes one. If he misses them both, you lose. So, it was a big free throw for Antonius. Then you go to overtime, and, you dominated him in overtime, 13-5. Trey Kellum had one field goal in the first 40 minutes of the game. He comes out and has 6 points. He gets a steal. He has a couple of big rebounds during overtime. Trey Kellum was the biggest reason you won that game in overtime, right?
Well, there's no question about it. He was 1 of 9 from the field going into the overtime session, and hadn't done a good job of finishing at the rim. Had a lot of attempts there, but just didn't do a good job of finishing. And then in that overtime period, he finished both of his opportunities he had at the rim. He went to the free throw line, knocked down his free throws. And I think what you said, the biggest factor was he defensive rebound. I mean, there was traffic in there, and he came down with the ball in traffic. So that was really impressive on his part.
What I thought was interesting, we had 2 equipment adjustments during the game. One of them was Trey Kellum took his mask off. He's been wearing a mask for a broken nose. The other thing is it looked like Antonius took the wrap off of his wrist. So guys that felt a little encumbered or uncomfortable equipment-wise, they both made adjustments, and it seemed to work out.
Yeah, I think obviously more of that is mental than anything. So anything that helps our guys mentally, as long as our trainer, when something like that happens, the first thing I do is I go to our trainer, Miss Amanda, and I ask her, hey, is he fine not having a mask on, or is he fine not having a tape on? Because we don't want to put our guys in harm's way.
Yeah.
We're worried about our student athletes' welfare. And so if she gives me the okay, then I'm fine with that. But whenever they come to me about it, say, can I take my mask off? Can I take I say, I don't know. I'm not an athletic trainer. I'm not a doctor. So as long as she okays that, I'm fine with it.
So I'm guessing the mask is history now because he played so well in overtime, right?
Yeah, he still has to have it with him in case he gets hit and for some reasons re-injures the nose or something like that happens where he has to put it back on. But the doctors, the training staff has said that he has to have it with him at all times in those situations, just in case he gets hit in that nose wrong again and it re-breaks.
Well, he's taken some shots. There have been times where after a play, he's going to the free throw line. You see him start adjusting that mask. So it has been. You ever have guys that play with masks and it really, is a problem for them?
Yeah, it really, and I tell you what, though, there's been a lot of adjustments and technology that made it more form fitting and better to wear. I know when I first got in the coaching profession, there was no mold to your face. It was just one size fits all. And that was a problem because it didn't work. But now with all the new technology and advancements in science, they mold it now. And it's pretty, for the most part, what you can call comfortable. So he still didn't like it. And I know it does work because he got hit several times in practice and games and things like that and was able to not feel it.
Famously, Richard Hamilton in the NBA with the Detroit Pistons, he broke his nose, wore the mask, played well with the mask, and he just wore the mask for the rest of his career.
Right. Yeah. And he was a guy that I think he was a good shooter. I'm not positive about that.
He was, and he made a name for himself as a mid-range shooter.
Right.
That's a lost art in basketball these days, right?
Yeah, we actually, like, when our guys come off a screen and they tight cut into that curl cut into that 15 to 12 foot area, we call that, Rip Hamilton shot, because they have no idea who that is now, but we say, like, okay, Rip Hamilton, so they know what we're talking about.
The guy who is really developing his mid-range shot appears to be Antonius Cleveland. To talk about his game, he had missed 3 games. There had to be a rust factor there, plus the fact that the hand that he shoots with predominantly, it's a wrist problem. That's trying to get extension. Well, it was amazing. He was able to put up a game like that, 20 points, 11 rebounds, 4 steals, coming off of 3 games where he didn't even play because he physically couldn't play.
Yeah, the number one thing you concern yourself, first of all, was conditioning. And it's not sometimes that a guy's out of shape. It's the adrenaline rush from playing again after not playing for 3 to 4 games. So, that's what we wanted to keep an eye on. We ran him a lot during the time that he couldn't practice. And, he'd come over and he'd do some things. And I'd say, like, there's nothing wrong with your legs. There's only something wrong with your wrist. So we did a lot of conditioning with him during that time. So he kept in good shape, and he's a guy that, like, he's in phenomenal shape anyway. The next thing you worry about for him is him being able to secure the basketball. Not just like the shot thing, he's not a great shooter, but I was more concerned about, like, him driving through traffic and being able to secure the basketball, or him going up for offensive or defensive rebound and being able to secure the basketball. And I think the third thing is obviously is the shooting. But we put him in some scenarios because they play that aggressive matchup zone, and we needed some guys to just attack the zone and go downhill. And he's only one of the few guys we have on our team that has the ability to do that. So we put the ball in his hands in some of the set play situations and asked him to go make plays. And that's a difficult thing to do when you've been out for 3 to 4 games and now come down and, like, hey, I'm going to put the ball in your hands and go make plays.
You didn't shoot the 3 that well. Normally, in a game where maybe you say, okay, Eric McGill 0 for 6 from 3, Jamal Calvin 0 for 4 from 3. Those are guys you need to contribute offensively. You may say, boy, going to be tough to win that game. And you found a way to do it with some of your better shooters really not having a big day.
Yeah, and that was a surprise. I mean, Jamal was 0 for from the 3-point line. I think Eric was 0 of 6. From the 3-point line. And then I thought Hoopy had some opportunities where he was wide open at the 3-point line and missed some of those too. So we didn't shoot the ball well. And I told our team, don't fall into the trap of shooting threes against this matchup zone, because that's what they want. I said, I put up their free throws in conference, and then I think they had shot like 117 free throws, and their opponents had shot 70-something free throws. And that tells you 2 things: that they're an aggressive team off the bounce, attacking the rim and feeding the ball into the post. And offensively, what they make people do is they make people settle for 3-point shots. So we wanted to make sure we avoided those 2 things. Don't foul them and don't fall for the 3-point shot.
Well, their free throw shooters are Tamon Howard and then Miles Taylor. I mean, he shot more free throws in the history of their school and made more free throws than anyone in the history of their program. He's their 4th all-time leading scorer, 2nd leading rebounder in school history. One of the great players all time. Only got to the line 4 times. He's made a living in the OVC in his career of getting to the line. He couldn't do it against you.
Yeah, and I told our guys 2 things. I said, first of all, we want to make sure he doesn't get catches in the post. And so if he doesn't get catches in the post, he can't score and we can't foul him. But if he does get it, it's got to be a lob. There can't be any sort of direct feeds into the post there, because if it's a direct feed, we can't get there for post trap or post help. And so if he throws a lob into the post right there, I said, you'll have somebody on the backside there to come post trap for you.
Redhawks head coach Rick Ray. We are at Wings, etc. in Cape Girardeau. It's the Colfeld Distributing Redhawks Coaches Show. I know we've got Rika Patterson, the Redhawk women's coach. I don't know if she is here yet. She is here. Okay, so I tell you what, we'll take a timeout, Coach. When we have you back for the final segment, we'll talk a little bit about SIU Edwardsville. But this is a team that has a guy who has put together the most prolific scoring game in the league this year. He is from Istanbul, Turkey. His name is Barak Eslik, and he scored 40 points against Morehead State. So you're talking about a prolific shooter. This is an SIU team that has a win at Southern Illinois, who is 18-3. One of their 3 losses was to SIU Edwardsville, and then Eastern Kentucky, a very good team. They have a win over Eastern Kentucky. They got 2 pretty impressive wins on their resume.
Yeah, and I think this is a team that, like, they can beat anybody. They've got some roster. Obviously, this is new for them, everything they're doing on the offensive end, defensive end. John Harris is a guy I've known for a long time. He'll do a good job there. He just got to make sure, like, now that he's getting his guys in there and getting a chance for them to buy into the system. So I know one thing, they'll be well prepared and they'll play hard.
Same scenario as you. You're taking over a program. You need to get your guys there. You guys are in the exact same boat, right? I mean, they lost all 5 of their starters from last year. They're all gone from last season.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, he's a guy that knew what he was getting into when he took the job, but he's from Edwardsville, so he's a native son there. It's like they say you can never go home again. Well, he's had the opportunity to do that.
Yeah, he was a star player at Edwardsville High School. Okay, Coach, we'll talk to you after the break here. We're going to talk with Coach Rika Patterson of the Redhawk women's basketball team. Stay with us. It is the Colfeld Distributing Redhawks Coaches Show. We are at Wings, etc. in Cape on SEMO ESPN. Whoa, I gotta disconnect timeout here. Nope. Yes. It's going to be a minute. All right. Make sure it doesn't try to redial. Yeah, I would think so. Let us know, but I can't tell you how long we're on. That's not a good thing. Usually connects quicker than that.
Have a red light over here.
No, you got to plug the card in first. Okay. Who's this?
This is my little cousin, Giselle.
Giselle? All right. How are you, Giselle?
How are you?
Okay.
Okay.
I know.
You can't be shy.
We are weird strangers, stranger danger. Okay. Now see, now it'll be fine now. Huh. That was weird.
For the new college football playoff.
The college football playoff first national champion, the Ohio State Buckeyes.
The biggest events in sports can be found right here on ESPN Radio.
And now, your ESPN Radio Network local weather forecast.
The National Weather Service calling for mostly cloudy, a high of 40 today. Tonight down to 25. Tomorrow 40, sunshine and clouds mixed. 48, warming up sunny on Thursday. 50, sunny on Friday. Right now middle 50s for the weekend with sunshine on Saturday. A slight chance of showers coming Sunday afternoon. And Monday a chance of rain with a high near 54 degrees.
You're up to date with the latest weather forecast right here on the ESPN Radio Network.
This is Mike Golick for the best in local sports talk and play-by-play. It's SEMO ESPN.
It is the Colfeld Distributing Redhawks Coaches Show. We are at Wings, etc. in Cape Girardeau. Thanks to Coach Rick Ray. He will rejoin us for the last segment. We'll get you ready for the game Thursday. It's an 8 o'clock tip-off at SIU Edwardsville. We'll talk about the Cougars and the new overhauled roster, basically, that they have, new coaching staff, and they have 2 quality wins this year over SIU Carbondale, a team that's 18-3, and then the Eastern Kentucky Colonels, who are always one of the top teams in the Ohio Valley Conference on the men's side. On the women's side, head coach Rika Patterson has joined us here, and now I know you don't have any children, so that's not who's sitting on your lap. Who is that?
This would be my little cousin, Giselle McCutcheon. My family's back in town, so I'm very appreciative of that. But yes, she's a 3-year-old.
Is your family here?
They are. They're in the back.
All right. What are we eating for lunch?
Well, of course, we got to have some wings.
All right. She's going with a staple.
Absolutely.
That's nothing wrong with that. You are getting ready now. Do you like this little break here? You played on Sunday. You're supposed to play on Saturday, so it looked like you're going to have a week but for your next game. Now it's cut down to 6 days, but a little extra time here. You've played 8 games of your conference schedule, so we're exactly at the midway point, and it's a week between games, basically.
Yes, it is. I think it comes at a perfect time. We just went through a stretch where we played the 2 best teams in conference, and we were in the games, and so now we get a chance to reevaluate where we are and what we need to do to finish strong.
You know, what's interesting, when you say you play the 2 best teams, unquestionably the 2 best teams. UT Martin went undefeated in winning the championship last year, and then SIU Edwardsville is a team that was picked to win the league, and they are 7-1, so statistically they are the best 2 teams. The interesting thing for you, they were competitive down to the wire. I mean, we're talking about the final 2 minutes. You get a block charge call in both games. You didn't get either call. Not saying that's the difference in the ball game, but we're talking about 2 1- and 2-point games with about 2.5 minutes to go both times. Both games were right there. You very easily could have won both of those games.
Absolutely, we could have. And, I think when you're playing the best teams, your margin of error is very small. And so in those situations, you can go back and you can look at that play or that possession. But there are a couple other possessions in the games where we may not have defended correctly or we didn't execute our offense the way we wanted to. And it came down to a possession here or there. But the good news is, we can continue to grow and get better, and we'll do that.
Let's talk about the award that came down today from the Ohio Valley Conference office. Imani Johnson, a couple of weeks ago, she should have won a Freshman of the Week award. Statistically, her numbers were just flat out better than the girl that won, a girl that had 7 turnovers in 1 game, which is not good. But it is the second time that Imani Johnson has won Ohio Valley Conference Freshman of the Week, 18 big points against the defending champions on Sunday.
Yeah, Imani, very deserving of that award. And, sometimes I think our freshman, Adriana Murphy, is also deserving because of what she does, maybe not scoring, but how she leads our program with assists and how she plays great defense. But, Imani provides us with a post presence where she can score inside the paint and she can face up and shoot the 3. And she's a difficult matchup, coming off the bench. And so, we're happy with where she is right now and can't wait for her to continue to develop and mature as a player.
And when you talk about what Adriana Murphy is doing in this league, the only player in the conference that has more assists than your point guard is Tiasha Gray, who you will see against Austin Peay on Saturday. So that's pretty good to be that close to leading a Division I conference in assists as a true freshman.
Yes, it is. And I don't think most people realize this, but, Adri really wasn't recruited highly. I mean, she signed late. She's a young lady that I saw whenever I was over in Indiana and loved her competitiveness and her fearlessness, and was so happy when I got the job and was able to make the phone call to her and let her know that I still want her to be a part of this program.
What was it like recruiting her?
Well,
because
again,
I'm sure some teams passed on her because she's so little.
Yeah.
I mean, she's 5'3". She's listed at 5'3". Is she
day.
really 5 feet 3 inches tall?
I think on a good day she is, and maybe with tennis shoes and maybe a couple of pair of socks, she might get to 5'3". But what we all say you cannot measure is her heart. And the way she plays, I don't know if you guys see, sometimes she gets up for rebounds, and it's pretty amazing because she'll be up there with the post players that are about 6 feet, and she'll go up and grab one. I get on Imani all the time because in conference, Adri averages more rebounds than Imani does.
What's that conversation like?
Oh, Imani doesn't like it, but it's okay.
You are going to face an Austin Peay team that comes in here. Well, what's interesting is I looked up, I just looked at their non-conference schedule. So you see what they did as far as non-conference goes. They were 2-11. So you think, well, Austin Peay's probably not going to be a factor. Well, they're 5-2 in the league. Well, okay, let's take a look at the strength of that non-conference schedule. Holy smokes, they've got the toughest non-conference schedule, according to the Sagarin ratings, of any team in our league. They played California, at Miami, Ohio, road games at Wright State, Ball State, Vanderbilt, Indiana, Middle Tennessee State, Western Kentucky, Arkansas State, East Tennessee State. They ran the gauntlet. That may be, why they are really having success in conference play 5-2. That non-conference competitive schedule may have gotten them ready for OVC play.
I think it did, and I'm sure whenever their new head coach got the job, he looked at that schedule and was like, what were they thinking? Because it is a tough schedule. But, again, it has prepared them for conference play, and you are able to see their strengths as far as scoring the ball and what Gray can do as a point guard. She will be a handful because she can score in a variety of ways.
Boy, the one thing when you bring up Gray, and her name is Tiasha Gray. She's the preseason OVC Player of the Year. She was just named the OVC Player of the Week after 28 points and a school record 13 assists a couple of games ago. They blew out Eastern Illinois the other day, and she had 17 points and 6 assists in that game. Tremendous three-point shooter, leads the league in assists, much more than just a scorer, right?
Absolutely, much more. Again, as you can tell by her assist numbers, I'm in league. I was looking at that last night, and I was like, wow, so she's just more than just a scorer. She creates opportunities for her teammates, and they absolutely execute whenever she, breaks the defense down, and they get easy shots.
It's one of those scenarios where you've got to respect her from the three-point line, but she's somebody that if you overplay her on the perimeter, she can take it to the basket, right?
Yes, she absolutely can. And even though she's 5'7" and her frame is pretty small, she's strong and she finishes well in the paint.
And a good free throw shooter. Austin Peay in conference-only games. Now, overall, with that tough non-conference schedule we mentioned, they're middle of the pack, scoring right around 67 a game. Not in conference. They are scoring 80 points per game, the most in the league. Boy, their offense is going to be a handful on Saturday.
Yeah, it is. And it's funny because they don't necessarily get out and run in transition a lot like the way we do. And you think that scoring 80 points, they score a lot in transition, but that's not the case. They like to outlet the ball to Gray every time, and then she plays with great pace and great tempo. And whenever they have open shots, they take them. They make you work. So it's not like they're trying to score in the first 5 to 7 seconds of the shot clock. They're going to make you work a little bit, and then they do a good job of crashing the offensive boards.
They are the best shooting team in the league. They lead the league in field goal percentage in conference games at 47%. And the young lady that leads the entire conference in field goal percentage is Tiara Banks. And I think this is a fair statement. There's no question she is the largest human being in the league. She is absolutely a post player that you are just flat out not going to move in the paint.
No, you don't. You don't really have a chance of moving her because when she decides to be in the post, which is often, you can't move her because she is strong. And again, they use that to their advantage. I was looking on film and I was trying to see how is she getting these, what I would consider early offense points. It's not because she runs fast, but when she gets down there, they make sure that she gets post touches. She's playing 15 minutes and averaging 12.5 points in 15 minutes. That's very efficient.
Yeah, and I've got to believe, it's one of those scenarios where, they can't play her a lot of minutes because she probably physically in terms of conditioning. But, man, she was 7 of 8 from the field in the Eastern Illinois game. We've seen her in past years. I mean, absolutely. I can't imagine there's a stronger person in the conference. So moving her off the post is probably not going to be an option. You'll have to game plan around that, right?
Absolutely. When she's in the game, we're obviously going to have to run as often as we can in those again, 15 minutes that she plays and see if we can maybe make it a little bit tougher for her. We can't let her get deep post touches. So, and, I tell our players, if there's someone who's stronger than you, you're not going to win that battle of keeping her from getting where she wants to go. But if she can't feel your feet, if she can't feel your body, then she can't seal you. So in those situations, we're definitely going to have to use our athleticism and speed against her.
If you lead the league in field goal percentage, it's not because you're shooting a lot of 19 and 18 footers. You're shooting a lot of 3-footers. They've got girls like Jennifer Wakocha. They've got girls like Sydney Gooch that can get to the basket and finish. I mean, they've got an assortment of players that get the ball to the rim.
Yeah, they do. I mean, you look at Gray's numbers, and she takes the majority of their shots. But those other young ladies are capable of scoring. Like you said, if you sag off her, if you put too much attention on the Gray, then the others can get to the paint and they can shoot open jumpers.
All right, what are we going to see defensively from them? Their defensive numbers so far in conference games, 5th in scoring defense and 2nd in field goal percent defense. They've been good on the defensive end is what the numbers say.
They have been, because they play really hard. They play every possession hard. It's going to be physical in the paint. They're going to pressure you out on the perimeter. Again, Gray does a really good job of being active. I think she fouled out against Belmont, but pretty much she hadn't really fouled out any other time. But she's going to be really, really active with her hands and pressuring our point guards. Their guards are going to get up and try to pressure with active hands, and it's going to be a physical basketball game.
Coach Rika Patterson is here, and niece Giselle, right? It's niece, not cousin, right?
Yeah,
okay, cousin Giselle is here, and other family members. And I know family is big for you. Your mother has been a head basketball coach, I'm guessing, since before you were born or just after you were born?
Just after.
Okay. Tell us about growing up with a basketball coach as a mom.
Oh, well, you spend a lot of days in the gym, and nothing wrong with that. I tell everyone.
Were you a gym rat?
Yeah, I sort of kind of was. I don't know how to cook. There's no mistake in that. But it's really not my fault, okay? My grandmother lived about 5 minutes away, and so during the school day, we would get up and we would go to our grandma's house, and there was breakfast on the table. I mean, grits, eggs, bacon, pancakes, sausage, everything, every morning on the table. Then, of course, at school you have lunch, and then I would go to my mom's practice, and then after practice I would go again to grandma's house, and there is dinner on the table. So I'm pretty good at cleaning up. I can, do dishes. I can sweep the floor. But yeah, I spent a lot of time in the gym watching a lot of basketball, and I'm very fortunate for that.
How often do you talk shop with mom now that you're a head coach?
We talk really probably more about other things, about how to manage your time and
how long you cook the grits for.
Probably more like how long do you boil water for eggs. I still haven't figured that part out. Yeah, I can burn an egg. That's embarrassing, but I
agree, it is embarrassing.
It is, but she's here to sort of help me, so that all I have to do is worry about focusing on basketball and trying to be my best and give my players my best. So I'm so appreciative that she and my Aunt Frances are here.
All right, your favorite meal that Grandma cooked growing up, or maybe even after you were grown up.
I think Todd and I talked about this after one game. It was around Thanksgiving. I love Thanksgiving because the seasons are changing, and then the plate, your food plate is so colorful, where you got ham and macaroni and cheese and rice with giblet gravy and potato salad, and then you got all your desserts. So I just
you got cranberry. You got cranberry in there.
You have cranberry sauce.
All
You got to add that to sort of make the plate pop. But I absolutely love how beautiful a plate can look. Was it 2 nights ago? They cooked, and we had chicken and rice with this cream of chicken and cream. I don't know what it was, but it was really pretty. And then we had mac and cheese, and we had string beans, and then we had cornbread. Oh, you can't forget cornbread, because that's a pretty yellow and orange. I just love the way a plate can look. I love that.
Thanksgiving is the best. It is absolutely the best. You have to if you're watching your waistline, you have to moderate prior to the meal.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
Because you have to enjoy it. You're just going to enjoy it. And then you just make decisions about what you're going to do after the fact. But
there you go. All right. Now, the last time we talked to you on this show, it was just prior to Christmas. And the girls were coming over. The team was coming over. You were a little stressful about getting the food, about getting everything together.
Let us know how the Christmas party went, the vittles, everything.
Well, again, the family was here, and it was great. I think Trees and Trends and Hobby Lobby and Lowe's, they saw a lot of us. I went from having one strand of 100 multicolored lights to 2 Christmas trees and decorations on the outside of my house with wreaths and bows and spotlights to show that at night. And the girls, they definitely enjoyed. My dad grilled. How about that? It was so warm around that time that he was able to grill out for them, and they definitely enjoyed it. And I started a tradition of, I got these little basketball ornaments, because you guys, I think I told you I didn't have any ornaments. So I got these basketball ornaments, and I said, what we're going to do from now on, the girls will like write their names and maybe a special message on the basketball ornament, and I'll just put it up on my tree downstairs. So bam, that was pretty much the I was nervous about that, but it worked out. It was great.
Now, do you give Dad instructions prior to the team coming? No embarrassing stories about when I was a kid. Were there specific instructions? Because I'm sure the girls wanted to know a little bit more about Coach Rika.
You know, it's so funny. I try to keep the girls busy. So we had gingerbread houses, and then we have games downstairs. And so I tried to keep them busy that way. And then I told them what we were eating so that they couldn't focus on that. But my aunt Frances was the one. I have this photo album of me back when I played in college, and it's got some pictures and stuff, and I brought it out, but I sort of hid it because I didn't really want the girls to see it because they had just asked some questions about it. And then my aunt was like, oh my goodness, I forgot to bring that out so the girls can see it, because she wants the girls to see it. It's rather embarrassing to see yourself like in college.
How many comments about your hairstyle from those days?
Oh, well, see, the girls didn't see it.
Okay.
They didn't see it, but I have a feeling that the next time they come over the house, they're going to find
now
the
that
book.
they know it exists. Yeah,
Yes.
now it's going to be a topic of conversation. And one thing that people may not know, when you go on the road with this basketball team and you win a game, you have a special deal with your players that wins equal ice cream.
Absolutely.
Where did that come from?
Well, actually, I got it from my boss at Ball State, and we actually did it whenever I was at Eastern Illinois, and I worked
Brady
for him.
Salee.
Yes. Again, these young ladies haven't really won a lot in the past, and I wanted to make sure that when we won, we celebrated it, because it's really, really hard to do. And when we went on the road, because it's so hard to win on the road, we celebrate with ice cream, and most of the time it's Dairy Queen, and the girls are like, Coach, we got to go. We don't want it to close on us.
Well, I know that the last time I was with you and you guys won, I went to, it's Dairy Queen. I went with the chocolate shake. What are some of the orders here with the victory ice cream?
For me or for the girls?
Well, both.
Okay. Well, I like to try different things. I'm at a point in my life now where I'm okay with trying different things, because probably in college I would have just stuck with vanilla ice cream and that's it. Nothing else. No sprinkles, no drizzles of chocolate, nothing. But now, I'll try the brownie with the ice cream. I'll try milkshakes. I'll try just different type of things. The girls, they sort of keep it with what they like. I know Deja really loves ice cream. She eats it almost every day. She told me she likes everything but chocolate.
Wow.
Yeah. Olivia is very health conscious, and so she'll probably have a small of something. I don't know, but they all have something in their hands, and they have a smile on their face, and they are enjoying the moment. And that, at the end of the day, that's what I want them to have.
We had Amani Johnson on yesterday because we do a coaches show with you from our studios on Mondays now. During our sports talk show, the Sports Huddle, we have a Ricky Patterson coaches show. And so for the first show yesterday, and by the way, Red Hawk fans can tune in every Monday at 9. Coach will be joining us in studio. We had Amani Johnson on. She goes the smoothie route.
She does. She really does. And that's different, because I thought she would have done more ice cream, but she does like that. I think it's mango smoothie. I think that's what she likes. Yeah.
All right. So give us the game plan here for Austin Peay, the #1 offense in the Ohio Valley Conference.
Well, I think that we're going to be able to score enough points, because even if you look at our games against SIUE and UT Martin, I felt like we scored enough. We have to be better defensively, and we have to have a sense of urgency, and we have to communicate like every possession is the possession to win the game. So defense, rebounding, and then let's look at the things that we do well. Even though we know that young lady from Austin Peay is probably the biggest and strongest player in our conference.
She is the biggest and strongest player.
I still think we have an advantage in the post. And we've got to make sure that we are utilizing that taking advantage of that. As we go on, this is going to be about a game of adjustments. We played 8 games, so every coach is going to know everything that we've ever done in conference. And now we're just going to have to adjust and tweak things, but play extremely hard, extremely tough, and as a unit.
Giselle, are you hungry? All right, we got to let her go. She needs lunch. Coach, we appreciate it. Thanks so much. We'll see you over at the Show Me Center on Saturday.
Thank you.
All right, Coach Rika Patterson. It's the Coalfeld Distributing Redhawks Coaches Show. Coach Rick Ray will rejoin us. We'll get you ready for the big game coming up Thursday at SIU Edwardsville. They are in last place in the league. We'll see if the Redhawks can win their 3rd consecutive game. Coach Ray joins us after this from Wings, Etc., the Coalfeld Distributing Redhawks Coaches Show.
About Wings, Etc. See, Wings, Etc. has those award-winning jumbo wings. They're popular for both dine-in and carry-out. Now, the word is getting out about Wings, Etc.'s appetizer lineup. From the ultimate nachos to the deep-fried pickle spears, frankly, they're irresistible. Friends are sharing time together at Wings, Etc. They've got dining rooms filled with HD TVs tuned to the best sports programming, including NFL Sunday Ticket. The people at the next table are talking about Wings, Etc.'s daily half-pound lunch special, starting at just $6.49. Plus, Wings, Etc. has food and drink specials throughout the week, including 59-cent wings every Monday. Plus, there's the kids menu, and Wings, Etc. is family-friendly with video games in the dining room. And the whole community is excited about how Wings, Etc. is locally owned and operated, and they're proud to support local athletes, their families, schools, and teams. I guess Wings, Etc. is a really big deal around here.
Hey, here's a stunner. Ford F-Series is America's best-selling brand of trucks again. The same brand that's been America's favorite since your dad had hair is #1 again? Yeah, who could have seen that coming? And it wasn't even close. What's kept Ford F-Series on top for 39 years straight? Game-changing innovation, pal. Like the high-strength military-grade aluminum alloy in the F-150. You may have noticed the competition came up short again. Ford F-Series, F-150, Super Duty, making every other truck brand history.
Maybe it's hot out today, or maybe it's cold, but this weather's got you thinking about heading to the bar for an ice-cold Coors Light. Maybe it's a bar built into the steep cliff face of the Rocky Mountains with a waterfall that pours down on a multitude of Coors Lights, chilling them with the frigid power of a Rocky Mountain stream. You order one and it suddenly appears in your hand. It's so cold you feel like a giant eagle riding on cool winds, content with your foray into Rocky Mountain country. You forgot about the weather already, didn't you? Thanks, Coors Light. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Great beer, great responsibility.
Well, dude, obviously be better as the focal point of the show. Would I be better for society? No.
Don't miss Russillo and Cano every weekday at noon on SEMO ESPN.
Final segment, the Coalfeld Distributing Redhawks Coaches Show from Wings, Etc. in Cape Girardeau, and we invite you to join us for lunch every Tuesday while we're here at Wings. They've got a comfortable, laid-back atmosphere. They have great food, friendly service, and don't forget about their daily half-pound lunch specials. They start at just $6.49. They have food and drink specials throughout the week, including their 59-cent wings every Monday. And they have a full kids menu. They have family-friendly video games and dining rooms. They are open 7 days a week, and they're open late on the weekends because the games oftentimes run late. And they are locally owned and operated and proud to support the local athletes just like the Redhawks. And we appreciate Joe Hobbs and his family hosting us for the Redhawks Coaches Show. Coach Ray rejoins us, SIU Edwardsville, the opponent coming up. It's interesting. We talked about their shooter, Barack Eslick. They've got a 6'10 post player named Yemi Makinjula. And he is originally from Lagos, Nigeria, played 1 year at the University of Tennessee. And then the last 2 years he's been at UMC Wilmington and did not play basketball. So he hadn't played in 3 years, but he's averaging about 8.6 rebounds, a really big body in the middle you'll have to contend with on Wednesday night.
Well, first of all, I'm glad that you said those names and pronounced those names because I would have had no idea on that. But, I think first of all with Eslick, the shooter, he's a guy that we can't give him any space at all. If you give him space, he's going to have to take that opportunity to get his shot off. So we've got to limit his opportunities by staying up into his space and pressuring him. And I think with the big kid, he really struggles versus double teams. So we want to, first of all, make sure he doesn't get a post catch. But when he does get a post catch, we want to make him make decisions because he's got a very high turnover rate for a post guy.
Second on the team in turnovers.
Yeah, and your post guys usually don't turn the ball over that much because they don't have as many opportunities handling the basketball as your perimeter guys. So that's one thing that we really want to try to exploit. I think this is a team in general that we want to try to speed them up and make them make pressurized decisions.
One thing they do well, they've got 2 rim protectors. They do block shots. Keenan Simmons and Jalen Henry, these 2 guys are both top 6 in the league in shot blocks.
Yeah, and I tell our guys this, one thing that we've got to do is we've got to turn and face on all of our post-up moves because they're bigger than us, they're longer than us, and so we can't be a back-to-the-basket team against this team. So we want to do your Kevin Garnett, your Carmelo Anthony type face-up guys and try to drive around them because if we try to go in them, backing them down, they're going to really affect our shots at the rim.
There are 2 really exciting fan favorite type point guards in the league. One plays at Eastern Illinois. The other plays at SIU Edwardsville. His name is C.J. Carr, 5'7", 145, lightning quick, 10th in the league in assists. He had a huge game against the Redhawks at the Show Me Center last year, 18 points, 10 of 10 from the free throw line. One of the tougher guys in the league to stay in front of?
Yeah, I'd say that. And I think the most important thing is, when he gets into the lane, he makes the right decisions by dropping it off to people. I think the most important thing with him is containing him. You don't want to be in a situation where he's went by one person and they run a lot of ball screen action. So if he's getting into the paint, that means he's not only beat your guy guarding him, but he's also beat the hedger too. So now he's beating 2 guys. So, it's really important for us, whatever defense that we play in that ball screen defense, is that we keep him in front of us.
They've got a nice building that they play in, the Vidal Bean Center. I think it only seats about 4,000, but they usually have good crowds. TV will be there, so you're anticipating a pretty big crowd. It's a tough place to win. Ask Eastern Kentucky. They've knocked off some of the top teams in the OVC at their place since they've joined the league. What's the game plan on Wednesday night?
Well, I think the number one thing for us, and it goes with all games, is it's got to be defense travels. We've got to bring the defensive effort, intensity that we had at the Show Me Center against UT Martin. It must carry over into Southern Illinois. And, I went back and I looked at our stats in our first 6 league games compared to our past 2 opponents. And the differences are staggering. Teams were shooting almost 51% from the field against us. In these past 2 games, they're only shooting 39%. From the three-point line, teams were shooting 40% from the three-point line, and now they're only shooting 25%. So we've got to make sure that we continue to bring our defense on the road and see if it carries over.
And UT Martin's a good three-point shooting team. They hit 16 three-pointers when they beat Tennessee Tech.
Very good shooting team, and they got most times when teams are good three-point shooting teams, they have one guy who's a predominant guy, then it's kind of a drop-off. They have a lot of guys that can make threes. So I thought our guys did a good job with them. I think then defensively, what we want to do is we want to pressure without fouling. We don't want our pressure to lead to them getting to the free throw line. So we don't want our pressure creating scoring opportunities for them. So I think they're a team that turns over the basketball a lot. So we want to try to feed into that and see if we can knock some balls loose and get out in transition.
All right. And John Harris, their head coach, I know you know him. You coach with Conzo Martin. He's been with Conzo a long time, Missouri State, Tennessee, and Cal Berkeley. So, I mean, he and Conzo Martin have been together for a while, and now he ventures out for his first head coaching gig. Yeah,
John is a guy that I've known for a long time, and obviously me and Conzo are very good friends. So whenever we would go and visit places as staffs, John was always there as one of his staff members. But on his staff, too, he's got 2 people I'm very familiar with as well, too. Kent Williams, we worked together at Purdue, and obviously Kent Williams was an all-time great guy at Southern Illinois in his playing career. And then his other assistant, Terrence, I coached Terrence when he was over at Purdue. He was our point guard there. So I know those guys personally, so it'll be an emotional game for us. You don't like playing against your friends, but I know they'll have those guys prepared and well coached.
You're in the game long enough, you can't help but have to play against your friends because you make so many of them.
Yeah, and I tell you what, though, you also want to see guys that are assistant coaches with that you were out there grinding on the recruiting trail with end up paying off for them and getting a head coaching opportunity. You know, I don't know anybody that's in this business as an assistant coach that doesn't have the dream of going on and running their own program at some point in time in their career.
8 o'clock, Vidal Bean Center, Edwardsville on Wednesday. Coach, we'll see you then. Thanks so much for the time.
Thank you very much.
That's Coach Rick Ray. That'll do it here for the Colfeld Distributing Redhawks Coaches Show from Wings, etc. We'll be right back here in the Cape location next week. Don't forget, it's an 8 o'clock tip-off on Wednesday in Edwardsville, and then the doubleheader with Austin Peay Saturday at the Show Me Center 2 and 4:15. We'll get you into ESPN Radio coming up. So long, everybody, from Wings, etc.